Ladies and gentlemen, I've been waiting for this day for quite a long time, and I cannot wait to jump straight into the action. This one is going to be saturated with a lot of interest, a lot of plays, a lot of electrifying scene overall. The first map, or rather, the first match to start off this day is going to be NAVI versus G2 Esports. This match will decide who's going to carve their way out to the grand finals and battle against Gambit. You can see Nico already on fire, Amanek as well, just shouting out, I don't know, making some gigs, weird gigs, but hopefully this is their way to set themselves up for success. Navi is a very big opponent, not to be trifled with. If you remember, my most vivid moment throughout the entire history of Navi versus G2 Esports was in Katowice 2019, where they were playing with Flamian. They just crushed G2 Esports into pieces of quartz. It's been almost 2 years past, and right now, okay, that wasn't actually 2019, that was 2020. Yeah, why am I saying 2019 if 2019 was a major? Yeah, and 2020 was without any crowd, so that was the very first tournament officially without crowds. A playoff LAN tournament officially without any crowd. But okay, enough of that. G2 Esports versus Navi. The first map to kick off the series is going to be Mirage. Navi pick up the city side to start off with, as this is the pick of G2. Electronic already posting some aggression towards the middle. I think Hunter might have spotted him out. He definitely suspects it. Electronic opts to stay behind the boxes, so he's temporarily secure from any projectiles to be hit from the back. Electronic is rather showing a very good resistance towards the underground area, along with Perfecto. They strike and bring up a very nice man advantage. Perfecto once again from short hits the deck with a very nice headshot onto another player of G2 Esports. They find no way out of this round thus far. Nico trying his best to somehow barrel down the ladder, but that's not gonna happen. Just does not work out for G2 Esports in this round. They try to attack middle, but the double peek by Perfecto and also Electronic on top of the middle ruined the day for G2 as they try to split themselves into the A-bomb side, it seemed. Now, that was a perfect timing by Perfecto. Electronic distracted a lot of attention that allowed him to come in from short and take those shots as easy as that. Also, you know, not a lot of pressure was from middle itself. Like, Electronic just sat there. He got actually very likely to be not caught by Hunter right there, who was holding the angle. So that was a very nice timing caught up by Electronic that yielded them the entire round. Full eco round for G2 Esports. They are trying to make some difference with those pistols. Simple's head was just under Hunter's crosshair, but unfortunately he didn't find the time to pull it off. And that results in a 3k for Simple thus far. Is it going to be the ace? He's heavily bruised, but maybe, just maybe, okay, just damage, enough of that damage. Boom, it strikes with an MP9. It is worth farming some cash rather than getting kills with an M4A4. So, unless you are so eager towards farming statistics, you should definitely give out this mission to a player like Boomich, who has a MP9 to farm up that cash. So, yep. Nicely done by Navi as they preserve their lead. G2 Esports drop all of their casualties with no bounce back in this round. And right now, it is much more important because They opted for the full eco round. They didn't go for any force buy because they didn't have any bomb plan as well. If that had been the case, probably there would have been a possibility they could go for the force buy immediately after losing the pistol round. But no, it is rather full eco, make it safe, and already tested. And right now they're gonna go for the full buy, as I've mentioned. I've just paved this logical link, logical line towards the fact they've bought up 5 AKs across the board, as you can see. That is a very massive firepower indeed, especially against NAVI, who are having 2 SMGs in play. They have not upgraded them from the previous round, and you don't normally want to do that, right? You preserve your economy until the point you need to rebuy, until you're forced to do so. And maybe G2 Esports will manage to bust that out of NAVI, to bust that economy rebuy in the next round, because, as I've already mentioned, they're having way better weapons, but that's going to all come down to the test. A huge test from Electronic on top of the ladder. I was pointing at Bit the very first moment, but he dropped immediately. G2 Esports fought him down, but unfortunately there was Electronic completely unraveled. He was the element of surprise to capitalize on for NAVI, and they did so. Hunter is the only player alive, probably good for one more frag, and even that is not going to be the case. Simple shuts him down and makes it a 3rd round for NAVI. And it looks like this is going to be another round where G2 Esports are not going to feel economically positive, right? You can see it takes 1 or 2 seconds for Electronic to shut down the first player, and the second does not turn around because he has another duel unfolding during that moment. So yeah, the timing for G2 just did not work out in that previous round. Even though they provided the first opening, they could not pull off the paddle forward into the B-bomb side because of that bottleneck by the name of Electronic. And what is up next? 3 Deagles, 1 P250, and a Tech 9. 2 sets of armor as well. No utility presence, so they're gonna charge straight through somehow as a single pack and try to break NAVI altogether. So this has to be a full man push. There is a boost into the window. Electronic doesn't have a chance to spot it out. Simple about to be met up close, but he stands. Along with Electronic, they are alive. Deagle in place on the middle will be deprived as well. Hunter in the meantime has made himself into the jungle. Does collect too. Nice find by him. That could have gone very badly in terms of economy for NAVI. That has gone actually. That could have been a 5-0 in terms of the players surviving on the map. But yeah, the element of surprise. NAVI had no clue. I think Electronic was half sure, or I would say 90% sure, that there was nobody in the window, because he would suggest, because he thought I would have spotted them out boosting into the window just to tip with the body, but no, smoke covered them off, and I think Hunter was just a little bit to the left, which made Electronic blindsided for that check. He wasn't able to give out that information to his teammates. But alright, still NAVI have not lost a lot, really. They are having 4 rounds in a row. Nice and neat. Clean, with no real casualties happening across the map. G2 Esports have not yet been able to find a very head-to-head battle against NAVI in these past couple of rounds. Amerik has gone for the AWP. He reads Electronic up close, and he hits that shot. Precisely so, as he moves his crosshair right onto his body, and only then pulls off the trigger. He makes sure it is totally flawless. And in the meantime, G2 Esports are taking their feet into the connector area and nobody to bother them right now until I spotted out Bit taking the frag. Simple misses another shot. Not of the frags found by him just yet. He goes for aggression, and this aggression has yet again been punished. Yeah, that is so hard to do any impact with an 8LP, especially when you whiff 2 of the shots. First onto Kanachor, the second onto Pit. It is so surprising he was still alive after missing 2 shots in a row. So he actually had a third chance to somehow, some way make a difference. And that looked to be very good. Bit get the first player down onto Kanachor, if I'm not mistaken. And looked to be a very good beginning for NAVI to defend the A-bomb side, dead to their rights. But somehow, some way, they turn it around. Yeah, Nico, quite a crucial component right there. He makes a simple turnaround from the pit, shutting him down from the back. The palace has been completely ravaged by this guy, and that is a great positioning by G2 Esports that results in a round victory.
Say much about other the fact that NAVI did try to find some information on the A-ramp, and it kind of backfired a little bit. We'll see if they will continue. Simple making the instant jump over from the window.
Some utility exchanges on the middle, as usual. Simple has made himself onto the short. A really fast jump right there. That's gonna be a run boost. He will spot it out, flicks it, but does not hit the shot. Gives it another try. But an inch too far from hitting the body of his enemy right there. So none of the teams has lost a significant amount of HP, and players as well, all staying alive across the map. I think Simple couldn't even think of a run boost like that. Of course, these days it is quite a normality to see a run boost of that kind onto the middle, especially when there is a smoke line in front and you potentially want to evade an AWP setup on short rather than flashing your way out. G2 Sports will be walking into the connector area. Jax makes himself out of this position. Bit from jungle. They are delivering those frags on behalf of NAVI. That goes very well, and the clock has been ground down to 20 seconds. Boomich waits out the moment exactly when Nico throws out his utility, and that's gonna be all set for NAVI. 8 seconds remaining. They are on the hunt. Bit, okay, he's not gonna drop down the window, so Hammock is in a safe spot to save his AWP, so he will not be found right there. You can see him scratching his beard while he's doing that.
That's part of it, and then because of that kill, they all swing to focus on that, and then Electronic is inside of the bomb site. So, and he wasn't flashed for the first kill either. That's kind of what did it. I think Boomich also showed a bit of presence, and so Nico.
That was a really good try by G2 to point out. They tried to take the mid control. They did it. They evaded Simple in the first order, which is a very vital mission to achieve. The smoke has been extinguished, so Simple may get another chance. Another run boost as usual. That's been quite a staple tactic that G2 Esports have been going for throughout this past couple of rounds. They abuse it, but maybe Simple realizes that, and once upon a time will actually capitalize on that. But I don't see that going his way many times, as long as AWP shots are not always that accurate onto players flying by, because number one, the unexpected factor, right? You're not expected to be run boosted over, and number two, it is quite hard when your enemy flies in, really accelerated in a very speedy fashion. It is quite hard to locate your crosshair right onto his body. That requires a crazy flick shot. Bit on short, about to be shot down by Nico, but that is Nico dropping instead. Perfecto. Oh lord, he's just mowing them down. Bit finally experiences his death, but that is poor. Nexa left alone against Perfecto, who's only at 8 HP, but that doesn't hinder him from getting all of those frags. Easy as that. They accept short. A really nice, somewhat of a crossfire right there. Amanek is completely unaware when there is a player on B about to be peeking out of the low range. That is Perfecto. Bit has soaked a lot of attention in just by standing on short, just by getting the frag. He remains the bottleneck for G2 Esports, and that enables Perfecto to come into play and deliver his chunk of impact. That is a very great performance, very nice positioning by NAVI. They overrun G2 Esports just by that. Of course, still very far, still very late to forecast any victories or any early advantage for neither of the teams, because NAVI, they are well known of throwing this up, and maybe this forced buy by G2 Esports will be the testament towards that. I don't think NAVI would like something like that to happen. Hamanek throws out a flashbang to potentially dodge an AWP setup on balcony. Bit delivers 2 frags in a row. He's done just enough. Perfecto backs off a little bit. Empties the B bomb site for G2 Esports to plant the bomb down, but not for too long. Jax is dropped, and the bomb remains solidly on next. So there is nobody to cover him off. There is nobody to help him out in delivering that bomb plant. So NAVI preserve their full buy as meant, and sail into the 7th round onto their board. The 9th kicks in. G2 Esports are yet to find their 2nd round. A full buy against NAVI. Simple from Connector. He's been changing his positions a couple of times already. G2 Esports feel that they taste the blood. They taste that something dangerous is up close. They don't dare attack middle just yet. That was a very nice flashback into the pit. They were trying to force the issue down there. Actually, Amanek was fully blind, but he still managed to pull off the trigger in time. Lucky enough to preserve 5 men alive on the map for G2 Esports. That makes 1 advantage. And Simple has repositioned himself towards the window area. Another round boost as usual from G2 Esports. He was trying to see somebody in the underground area. Now has been smoked off. He's got to rethink his pot. Bait has been taken down. Electronic retrades it, but not for too long. Still, the situation is heavily favoring G2 Esports. Perfecto gets over the hurdle. But Nexa from the back. Oh, he's gonna make a lot of. Oh my god! I was going to say Nexa is gonna make a lot of difference, but that seems to be Perfecto doing this instead. He chunks them all in. And Simple, okay, you're up here. You're not lagged out. You're seeing Nexa coming by, and you will hit that shot, perforating straight through his body. What a play by Perfecto. He's put up 3 frags in this round, if I'm not mistaken. 2 for sure. And those 2 were so damn critical. G2 Esports had 0 clue. I think they had information of Perfecto right there. I'm pretty sure Nexus suspected that, and he could have said, there is some unit setting on short, and you've got to be careful for that. I think they were just about to readjust onto short before Perfecto stroke, but that was just a second or 2 late. Yeah, woefully so, but that is the reality G2 Esports are living in right now. They are 7 rounds behind. The half is not over just yet. Navi, they can end up 8-7 or 9-6. Talking about G2 Esports, they're having a very good chance towards that, especially if they pick up this force buy. If they somehow manage to do this, which I'm unsure will be the case, but as I've mentioned a couple of times, I mean, these force buys can be very devastating for the enemies, especially when you don't get ready for them. G2 Sports similarly will be paving their advent onto the A bomb side. Boomich, oh, he has been forced out of the angle. That is great for G2. They've been stopped by the molly. They don't have any smoke to extinguish. Simple walks in and he's gonna catch a bullet into his face. That's exactly what I was talking about. Perfecto on the city spawn, trying to trade it back, trying to equalize the situation. Does make 2 frags successful at the very least, and that is a chunky nade to alleviate some things onto Bit. He does deal a ton of damage to Hunter on his way by, but he's got to plug Amanek out of the default. He does it. Bit, he's up against 100. He's so heavily low. He's playing it off angle, I believe. Now about to walk into the corner. Bit throws out a smoke. Goes for the defuse. He taps it out. But Hunter is quicker. Just quicker and 4 HP higher than Perfecto to stay alive. What a round. What a round by G2 Esports. They've done so many openings. They've done so many good frags under the A-bomb side. Perfecto really tried to make a lot of difference from city spawn. He did it. And that at all has been designated to Bit for the cleaning job. For trying to recover. But that didn't happen. Hunter, the man who stepped up, a very crucial round for G2 Esports. After this, you could definitely say that is good for mounting a comeback. That is good for mounting up some momentum on your shoulders and really ride into the end of this first half with a pretty confident score line. 6-9 would be pretty good considering they're playing on the T side. I think this is something G2 Sports would definitely like. Electronic, the same setup, but with Perfecto this time around. That used to be Bit the previous couple of rounds. Simple gets dropped with the help of Krieg on the hands of Nico, and that becomes an instant shutdown for Navi. They find no success. They've been dropped like flies around the map. Ran over by all of the angles. Boomich is left alone. And he will be taken down as well. So, third round for G2 Esports. They deprive the entire economy from Navi. All of the players fall, saving nothing. And that is a very nice execute by G2 Esports. Really, taking a very fast aggression towards shorts, catching those players off guard. Perfecto was not ready for that. He was switching his guns. The time Electronic called it out. So already, even if he faced G2 Esports with a weapon in his hands, it's still quite hard to refocus when you've been unfocused since the beginning. And right now, you've been just told they are rushing straight down short, and you've got to be ready for that. But no, Perfecto got dropped down. And Electronic just let 2 of the members pass through, so he could do any frags he wanted. That did work out in the third round of this half, if I'm not mistaken, when G2 Sports were trying to show up the same tactic. But at that point in time, Electronic got a better timing to shut them down. Okay. G2 with a fast take onto the A-bomb site. Navi are having full eco rounds. Only one CZ75 onto Simple. They're just coming through the connector area. Nexus spots out Boomage towards the gap. He will easily get him down straight out of the map. And this is an easy round for G2 Esports. This is just about getting some frags for NAVI, which appears to be successful, but still, I'm pretty sure one more bullet and Perfecto will be down from this angle. Amanek receives a tiny bit of damage, but that doesn't bother him that much. There's no real necessity to go and try and farm out those weapons on the NAVI side. You better think of your own. Okay, they're trying, they're considering that. Simple falls down at the end. Basically for nothing. He had not a lot to lose. He had only CZ75, but I think it would be more reasonable for the USP player to drop down. But still doesn't make a lot of difference. CZ75 is not a weapon you want to play with on the full buy, because it takes you approximately 2 seconds for the recoil of, you know, approximately 2 seconds to switch up to CZ75. It's probably the most... it's probably the weapon that takes the most time to swap yourself to, apart from Nagif. Oh, that's a gap. That's a very nice gap. But Electron just took a random shot through the smoke. That is a bottom range gap, which means G2 Esports are having a vision onto Electronic, which he sorely doesn't. Perfecto's left alone in the jungle. Will walk out and wrap himself around the city spawn. He's got an M4A4 as well, a smoke and a flashbang to work with, but it seems like he's gonna sit out there and sit out here and wait for maybe some aggression by G2 Esports. He's gonna save his M4A4, and yeah, Navi will not consider going for the retake. Perfecto, he's not that braggy about clutches or something like that. He's the man who would rather save his weapon, and especially looking at the economy of Navi, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good one bit. So they definitely need to preserve some weapons. Maybe play a force buy in the next rounds and keep it competitive against G2 Esports. They would love to pick up the 9th round on their board after G2 Esports. They were actually on the streak. They've picked up 4 rounds in a row, and that is good news for them, because right now their economy boils over. They are having, on average, maybe like $6,000 per each. 3 of the players, of course, having approximately 10,000. It's only Jax and Nico falling behind a little bit because they have, well, most of the deaths. And yeah, they've been rebuying more often. Probably were dropping some guns in the past couple of rounds, and this is why they're having the least amount of money on their bank accounts. It doesn't really matter. Navi are playing with a very bad buy that's been forced in. Bit goes down in this contention. Jax just fires them all up, and yeah, just straight through this incendiary. That's gonna give him some fire, some energy to walk in, to shoot by. Perfecto tried to make his way back, but he's destined to lose himself and be dropped down by yet another player from G2 Esports. So, just a couple of rounds before we finish off this half. Navi are having enough cash. They've wrecked it up by saving, by having partial buy in the previous rounds. And now this is the last round of this half. Actually, the last round. Wow, I thought there would be 2 rounds left, but I didn't really keep track of that. A lot of flashbangs thrown into consideration over the middle. Electronic on the short position. He doesn't care how many flashbangs are streaming in. What he cares off is frags. Is his aiming skill. Simple. Takes Hunter off guard as he walks out of the palace area. Ferociously, Navi pick apart G2 Esports or on their offensive. and pick up the 9th round of this half. I don't think Jax has something to say about that. You can already say that's all done and dusted. Bomb is lying in no man's land. It is actually under control of Navi, you can say, because the moment he picks, there will be bits leading out of the corridor and lining him up. So, 9-6 at the end of the first half, ladies and gents. We will be going for a slight break, but after that, join back for the second half. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, it's Rush.
It's Hobbit here.
Boom is here.
Hey guys, it's Tabs here.
Kerrigan here. Today I'm giving you the buying tips presented by Coinbase. So let me have a full buy. You have 4,750. You want to buy the orb, but little grenades. It's not so fun to be an inferno. Cannot recommend. So yeah, you go for an M4, a light armor, and the utility you get with that. And that depends. You probably also want to have a Molotov and a smoke. Smoke Molotov is always good for B, especially late round, early round, whatever you want to do. You have a lot of opportunities.
On Inferno and B, you can use like I think a lot of weapons, not only M4, maybe some farm gun like MP9 or FAMAS, but I think the most important thing on B side on Inferno is the nades. I think I will pick FAMAS with first armor and 4 nades.
Me personally, if I'm playing a Mirage and a Force Buy and I have 2,500, I would probably buy Deagle and I'd buy armor, head armor, and like a smoke, nade, flash. Just like any kind of nades you want to get. You want to get close, so play balcony, play ramp, use your smoke when they start throwing stuff. Like say like you're under balcony and they molly you, use the smoke on the molly. Maybe even get a flash for your teammate to take ramp. Some people might decide on an MP9, which is fine. But for me personally, I think a Deagle right now is a super OP with full nades.
I'm gonna buy MP9 and second armor. If it's second round, T side has farm guns, so I need to buy second armor. If they have full buy, I'm gonna buy this first armor and smoke and some nades like HE for example.
I would go for P250, smoke half, Molotov smoke, and this flash, or if it's an HE left. And I would go for something like I would take my teammate with me. I would Molotov ramp, smoke deep ramp, outside of ramp, and then I would take ramp control and then play with my P250 somewhere close area. I have a better movement. I can be more around the map. I can just, like for example, run and shoot rather than just aim and go for the headshots. For example, like in Deagle.
The 3,500, I would get a Galil and armor, full armor, and then a smoke molly. If I can't get a molly, I would get flash. If you're hitting A on Dust 2, you want kind of long range weapons. You don't really want like a Mac 10 unless you're like really hard entering, like down, like jumping short to spawn, for example.
I think I will take some farm guns like Mac 10, second armor, and smoke, mall, and double flash. And maybe I will execute A with free smoke, drop to CT with some flashes, trying to not fight on long distance.
I like how the first half went for Navi and for G2 as well. Like they kept it pretty level, I should say. Like 9-6 is a pretty standard score line at the end of the first half, especially if you're playing on the city side. For Navi, it is a good score line, and so is for G2 Esports as they switch themselves up to the city side. They swap things up, and I'm sure if they win out the pistol round, it's gonna be a lot easier to dictate the pace on the city side. Of course, it is more of a stereotype, but still, you know, it just feels intuitively like if you win out the pistol round on the city side, you've got to be getting a get go really into the rest of the game. Perfecto has been challenged down by these two players. He throws out a flashbang. I'm not sure it's gonna do a lot right here, but he still gets a frag, unbelievably so. He doesn't have any armor to work with, and he is still alive, not for too long. Finally, Nico takes him down, gets rid of this bottleneck onto Palace. And what are these refrags? They are actually favoring G2 Esports. All of a sudden, it's been turned around. They flipped the coin. And Amanek is left on the B-bomb side. I'm not sure if Navi are aware of him, so he's going to be an element of surprise. Does have a smoke to drop off. Obscures the vision of Navi just a little bit. He would love to get that one more shot. One more frag to the face of Boomich, but that's not going to happen. Nexa sees a back turn. Simple walks out. Boomich delivers one of his own. And maybe a chance for Navi to pick up this round at the end of the day. That started off good. And maybe will finish the same. Nexa, he's got a fuse kit, so he can take his time. He just has to plug out at least one player out of this contention. How is he still alive? He's been back-turned for maybe like 2 seconds, and Boomich only now takes him down. Wow. What a volatile round for both of these teams. Like Electrona getting his frags, Perfecto as well onto Palace. Although Nico trades it, but it is still a fairly good situation for G2 Esports. You can see how close it was, really. If Amanek had lined up at least one more frag on the B-bomb side, no matter whether he would have fallen afterwards or not, it still would have been very easier for G2 Esports to pick up the pistol round. But unfortunately, 2 against 1, it is just such a tall task for Nexa. Even if you have diffuse kits, but you are having just to hit very accurate shots to make it possible. And if you're playing up against Simple with a duoed with Boomich, it is definitely not an easy task at all. So 6-10, Navi pick up the pistol round. G2 Esports are with the force buy. They want to fight back. They want to revert the trend. They want to pick up the rounds they were meant to in the previous. Nico, what are you doing with my mind? You're driving crazy. 3 frags from Stairwell. And that puts Navi into a bit of a problem. 2-on-2, no longer that comfortable. Bit takes him down. As Hunter walks out of the smoke, Amanek makes it a bit closer. That's been scrutinized. Don't you dare knock on the door of Navi right there. And that is the dome of Navi becoming successful in this run. But look at these frags by Nico. They are insanely huge. The 3rd kill is an absolute miracle that he hits that. But that is still not enough. 6-11. Navi charge straight through with 2 rounds in a row on the second half. Nico has been taken out of the equation early on in the round. No deagle conversion. Nothing for you. Middle is currently occupied by Boomich. He gobbled you up and backs off a little bit. He's fed up. He doesn't want to go any further. He wants to join the pack and make it easier. Instead, he watches the rotation from G2 Esports from the B apps, but nobody's up there. 3 of them are currently around the middle. Next, in the meantime, will be rechanneling himself back to the jungle area. And you can see, yeah, the information has been gathered, even though Boomich falls, but that is enough for Navi to be aware of what's happening around the map. And easily wrap this round up. So 6-11 is soon to turn into 12th round of Navi. And nice job. Nice job. G2 Esports will be able to recover a Mac-10, 2 Deagles on their way back. A flashbanger to Amanek as well. So they will have enough money to rebuy. I wonder if they are going to dump this Mac-10 off. Once the next round kicks in, because if they stick around Mac-10, that is definitely not a very good weapon if you are playing up against Navi, well equipped with powerful weapons, with rifles all around the place. I don't think they will be going for an AWP setup just now. There is just no necessity. So far, we haven't seen gun rounds from both of these teams, but that is about to happen right now. You can see this AWP onto Amanek, and yes, as I've mentioned, they dump Mac-10. They don't want it to be in the mix because Mac-10 against AK-47 is not a very equal match to the firepower. So you want to get rid of it. If you have enough money, just rebuy and pick up a better weapon like M4A4 or M4A1S if you like. Oh, M4A4s have been around CS by prevalence since M4A1S got fixed a long time ago. Amanek, how has he missed that shot? That was super easy to hit. That was just so miraculous. I think he just did not expect that would have been so easy. Yeah, just Perfect just walked into the apps completely unaware of Amanek's op. And of course that could have gone awry, but I think Amanek just did not expect for such a silly play by Perfecto. And this is quite a room for conversation, right? If you're like expected to do something really wise, if you're expected to play default, something very very usual, something that is often expected by your enemies, you can actually try to change and play like a simp, like a really dumb player, and sometimes it can actually work out. Not all the time, but sometimes. And you can see Amanek bring the impact worth 2 frags along with Nico. Maybe he gets another one as well. It's not gonna happen. Instead, Hunter will take down the last player alive on the Navi side. And as Dask pointed out already, Amanek, the only thing he needs to do around the map is bring his chunk of performance right. He doesn't necessarily need to pick up crazy clutches to pick up like 5k in a row, but no, rather stay consistent, find your impact across the map, make it a little bit easier for your entire team to clash against Navi, and that's it. That works out just fine. And this AWP is able to find 1 or 2 frags throughout the span of a round. That is good. That makes things a lot easier for G2 Esports. And especially if you are still having an AWP as a hurdle for Navi to overcome throughout the match. And you have no response to that. You have no AWP onto simple. You're playing on the T side. And your economy is also not that good. So if Navi lose this round, G2 Esports will be able to pick up the 9th potentially. Of course, it's going to come down to details. If Navi plant down the bomb, maybe there will be enough money to scrap up a pretty good force buy. But that is still obscured by a lot of different questions, by a lot of dubious and waggy questions that not a lot of players can answer. A deep molly into this car. That is a very nice bait by Jax. He makes them think that he's in car. Even if he burns out, that is still going to be a prime position for Hunter to be in. Oh lord. They don't see him right there. They don't expect him, and that's going to be so easy. He just waits for them to line up, gets one, and the second as well. Simple as left alone, and this will be an easy pick up by Hunter. He just scams them. Jax scams them. Jax makes them think that there is only one player on the B-bomb side, and that works out just fine. This is exactly the bait you want to go for if you are seeing Navi attack the B-bomb side, all from the apps with only simple comment from short. That is a very great positioning by G2 Esports. We just gifted them the round. What is the antidote by Navi? The antidote was nothing. If you are seeing it for the very first time, you have no clue that something like that is going to happen for real. Oh, a boost by Simple for Electronic with the Deagle. Yeah, that's actually by Boomage. Yeah. Perfecto is down with the nades, and Nico walks in to gather them all in. That is 4 kills to the tally and 9th round for G2. Nicely done. Clean anti-eco round from G2 Esports. Chants are coming out as usual. Pumping up. G2 Esports have deserved to spend some time drinking that victory in, but they are still having a lot of proof right now. There's a 3-round gap, and they definitely need to break Navi in this round as well, because City's economy is quite a slack thing, and if you let it slide down, sure thing, Navi can pick up the map point potentially. Not a lot of utility in use for Navi. You can see Boomage limping through, but Nico expects it. Oh, Amada gets taken down by Electronic from Palace. Another frag deliver, but Nexa holds Tron. He stays his ground and gets himself 2 frags, but that is still not good enough for the man advantage. Navi are capable of turning these advantages back in their favor, and this is exactly what's happening right now. Jax is alone against 2. They are well spread. They are all next to the plant. Simple peeks out of the city spawn, and this will be a great recovery by Navi. Despite Nico getting the first frag, that is Electron just pumping out, just exploding out of the palace area and shutting them all down. Great one indeed. And he also saves the life of the pit player, because if he takes Amanek down just a second later, they would have been in a, well, 1-on-2 probably, because Amanek would be alive and some things would have gone completely different. The same run boost attempted by Navi, they just decided to replicate that from G2 Esports. That's been really quite often abused by the teams, where they try to run boost themselves over the middle if there is a smoke in front or if there is none of that. So that is a very great detail to take if you're analyzing pro matches. They like Navi and G2 Sports in this matchup, I think there wasn't a single time, or at least the majority of times, where just thanks to getting run boosted onto the middle, there's no other route for the mid control taken. Navi with a great opening onto the A area. They have nobody from City Spawn, but they have no idea about that, so they are still a little bit hesitant about that. Getting very slow and methodical. Electronic tries to spray somebody down from Palace. In the meantime, Perfecto is making all the way back to the mid position. Jax expects it. Oh, just looks away for a moment, but he rethinks it. And pulls off the trigger right into Perfecto. He does locate his crosshair right in time. Navi are having 20 seconds remaining. They've ground this clock down, but they are close enough to the A-bomb side to get the bomb down. They will do exactly that. Nobody to bother them from City. It's only Jax this time around, getting rotated over from the mid position, and Simple getting one more frag. Boomage as well, contributing one of his own. 2 against 2 as we go into a post-plant scenario, and G2 Esports are flocking around the same position. They used to be doing that. Now Nico relocates himself back to the city spawn. Boomich waits for this. No flashbang, it seems. Nico takes him down. And that is simple. Up against 2. He whips the first shot, jumps up. And this will be the defuse for G2 Sports. Are they having enough time? It should be it. It should be enough, but oh no! 17 milliseconds away from locking it in. And Navi pick up the rounds. That is so painstakingly disappointing for G2 Esports. Really heartbreaking that they don't get the defuse in time. Imagine if Nico was the one having defuse kits. And they also go down together. They save nothing, and that is the third tactical pause taken out by G2 Esports. They really need to talk things through. They've lost a very crucial round. They've lost a round that should have been theirs for sure. But Lord, the only thing they lacked is just 17 milliseconds. That is so devastating to witness. When you are so close, but yet so far from winning the rounds. All right, 5 seconds on the countdown as we are about to strike the 24th round with a new portion of action. NAVI with a full buy. G2 Esports are trying to put up a response with the force buy. Nico already tagged down to 41 HP. Not so good. I wouldn't describe it as good news for G2 Esports because, well, you've just been cut down to 41 HP and it feels terrible. It feels terrible. Of course, it's not 1 HP. Not 1 HP, but still, for Nico, it is a little bit unfortunate. He's been given no chance to deal any damage onto Navi in reverse. He's going to be jiggle peeking towards the underground area. Nobody from Navi to take their feet through that side of the map. Instead, 2 middle and right now only bit coming straight through. Oh, Nico. Your crosshair was just on his head. But but how could you know? How could you know, Nico? You don't have any X-ray. Only we shoutcasters can have that privilege of witnessing match with X-ray enabled. And so are the viewers. Simple takes Amanek down. A lot of action, but not a lot of impact for G2 Sports. The smoke dissipates, and there's one more casualty for G2 Sports. Hunter has now been spotted out, and he can be quite unexpected. He drops the bomb down. One more could be good, but he's not going for it. And the bomb is planted far off from letting Jax line up a frag like that and put them into a grinding halt. There were 6 seconds remaining. Navi, again, we saw that against Gambit actually when they played on Dust 2. And I'm really surprised that they are still, kind of grinding the clock down. But they are definitely more synergized right now. They are no longer lost as they used to be against Gambit. Now they are playing way better against G2 Sports. Likewise, Blade said in the interview during the analyst desk, he said, it is very crucial for us to get synergized, to get all dots connected together, and only then we can put up consistency, we can put a very clean and successful rounds, despite we are grinding the clock down so often. He didn't say anything about getting the clock ground down, but obviously Navi are very well known for exactly that setup, for exactly that sort of a play. When they grind the clock down, they squeeze out all of the time from the rounds, and only then plant the bomb down, bust out the defense players on either of the sides, and get it done. So 3 versus 4. This time we're on a faster approach by Navi. They want to finish it off real quick. Look at this go actually. Bomish has already located himself under the B bomb side, but unfortunately Amatic, oh my god, he's about to spot out the bomb crossing. And he gets the tag. He also spots out the bomb. Bomish lets the first player slip by. That is a significant play by Bomish, a really huge one. He takes him down. Does take a couple of seconds to process whether he wants that or not. But better than nothing. 2 against 3, and Navi are so close. Are so close to take out this first map of the series against G2 Esports. To take out their map pick as well. The second will be Dust 2. Nico coming in from the apps. He's gonna line up that shot. Hunter is the only man alive. He's the only man standing. He's trying to ding the car player down to 0, but it's not gonna happen. No defuse kits available, and this will be the round for Navi, and so is the map picked up. Really nice performance. I honestly expected it from G2 Esports a little bit more, but Navi for sure polished their mistakes, polished their play a little bit. I still wonder how they will be performing on Dust 2, because that was a nightmare against Gambit, to be honest. And I wonder if that will change in some way. But Mirage definitely looked to be very good for them. G2 Esports, they also lacked some power. They also lacked some sort of synergy on the T side. That went pretty good as they mounted a comeback in the form of 5 rounds in a row, and also finishing off with the last to pick up the 6 against 9 from Navi. But still, there was something lackluster for them on the second half, and this is why they lost it. Navi just very well at catching them off guard, just being around the place, mopping them all up, and leaving no chance on Mirage. We will see how Dust 2 pads out, but before that, we will slide into a very short break.